Okay. I'll just quickly say something about the timing and then turn to you, Mrs. Stearns.
It's because
Are we live?
Okay, we're live. Let me fix the audio.
Okay. Live?
Yeah.
Welcome everyone here who is with us on the Oval this morning, and welcome to everyone who's joining us online. It is our second Sunday broadcasting from the Oval, and so we had just a little bit of challenge going live, but the buttons finally appeared, and here we are, live with all of you. Let us sing together, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, Stearns.
Whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is the caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again. Whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are. Lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come.
Good morning. Okay. Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Fellowship. My name is Marjorie Wormser. I'm the new chair of the Welcoming, Engagement, and Fun Team, WEFT for short. We weave the fabric of community on the warp and weft of a loom of love. I have a few announcements today. First, we are so glad you are here. And you haven't already done so, please stop by our welcome table to the right, just on the other side of the brick entryway. And make sure that we have your name, email, and other contact information so that we can update you on what's happening in the life of our beloved community. Second, we had, children's RE classes and youth groups started meeting today for the first time. And does that apply now or only to the morning? Okay.
Children or grandchildren at home, they are welcome to get some materials about our RE program and to sign them up at our welcome table following the service.
Terrific. Thank you. The RE classes are held outdoors, especially as our children under age 12 are not yet vaccinated. And the youth group will be spacing out in the sanctuary indoors with our new high-efficiency filters running. So if you haven't registered your child or youth yet, please do so at the welcome table or online at our website, www.muuf.org. Third, we are both in person, outdoors, and online for coffee hour. We will host 2 in-person coffee hours on the terrace following the 9:30 and the 11:15 service. We are providing coffee, tea, water, and lemonade, and we ask you to bring a travel mug. We'll have a few cups if you don't happen to have one. We ask you to bring a snack or lunch for yourself, your family, your pod, and if you'd like something to eat. For now, we are not serving food as a safety measure, although our coffee hours have been legendary. So we will host one online coffee hour at 12:30 via Zoom. You can join at the usual link, which can be found at www.muuf.org/virtual, or in the pastoral email from Reverend Alison that is in your inbox this morning. And finally, let me remind you to take care of your needs while we're meeting outside and online through the end of October. If it's a sunny day, bring a hat. If it's chilly, bring a blanket. If you need to move your chair, you are welcome to do so at any point during the service. So welcome to one and all.
I would love to invite John and Kathy Solu and Teddy and Emerson Franklin to lead us in an open reading and also our chalice lighting this morning. And for those here, you have the words for that unison reading in your order of service, and online in the pastoral email that went out this morning, the PDF is right there. You can click on it if you'd like to.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. The great end in religious instruction is not to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own.
Not to make them see with our eyes, but to look inquiringly and steadily with their own.
Not to give them a definite amount of knowledge, but to inspire a fervent love of truth.
Not to form an outward regularity, but to touch inward springs.
Not to bind them by erratically prejudices, our particular sect or peculiar notions,
but to prepare them for impartial, conscientious judging of whatever subject may be offered to their decision.
Not to burden the memory, but to quicken and strengthen the power of thought.
not to impose religion upon them in the form of arbitrary rules, but to awaken the conscience, the moral discernment.
In a word, the great end is to awaken the soul to excite and cherish spiritual life.
So we're going to share with you the chalice lighting that our young ones do up in their classes when we're up in the classes. But today we were outside. It was wonderful. We had a good old time, didn't we, Emerson? We did. Good. So we're going to share this with you. So we are lighting our chalice because we are Unitarian Universalists. Emerson, you ready? Where's our base? So there's the base. And the base, it reminds us to stand tall. And how about our cup? Oh, the cup, it holds all of our stories. And how about the flame? Where's the flame? There it is, this little light of mine. There it is, the flame. And that guides our way. Blessed be.
Thank you for sharing the words of William Ellery Channing about the purpose of religious education and for leading us in our young children's, but really words for all of us, chalice lighting, here on our opening day of RE classes, which happen every week at 9:30. Let us join once more in song. Come Sing a Song With Me by Carolyn Mcdade.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind,
hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me, come dream a dream with me, come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me, come walk in rain with me, come walk in rain with me, that I might know you're mine, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
You are standing. So today a very special thing happened at 9:30, and really it's happening throughout the day, which is that we are in essence passing the torch. Kathy Solu, I would love to invite you to come forward. Kathy, and John, why don't you join her? Kathy Solu served as a religious educator in our congregation previously, but she was retired. Last year, we found ourselves in transition with not a lot of time, and so we asked, Kathy, would you step up and serve as our religious educator once more for 1 year? And I have to say, under her leadership, the numbers and the engagement rose, which does not surprise me at all. And today, we honored her this morning by sharing two things. First, I gave her the gift she's now wearing, called a Sunday school pin, which children used to get in Unitarian Sunday schools and Universalist Sunday schools. When they got these pins, they were not yet one religion. If you had perfect attendance, if you showed up every single Sunday, you would get to proudly wear a Sunday school pin. And so Kathy has shown up for us in every way, has shown up with a full heart, her full spirit for our children, our families, and our adults. So she is very deserving of this Sunday school pin. And the second thing that we gave her this morning is an award. This is the first time we've given such an award, and I want to read to you what is inscribed on this award. Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship is pleased to present this award of excellence in the ministry of religious education to Kathy Solu. Thank you for fanning the flame of our faith within the hearts, minds, and spirits of our children and families. You have responded to the call to serve with passion, compassion, generosity, and care. The Religious Education Program year 2020 to 2021, and I hope that you know that you have made an incredible difference. And I asked John to come forward as well, and Kathy may want to say a few words in a minute, because John and Kathy, they are extraordinarily generous with their time and their talent. I know we all know this. But Kathy Solu and John, by extension, did the most incredible thing. As we shared last week, we have ambitions for a green, family-friendly, acoustically wonderful, spacious place for us to be able to gather. And already we're benefiting today by being able to worship outside, and there are so many places for our children to play. And what I wanted you to know is that Kathy Solu wound up donating back to the facilities and the campus, apart from paying taxes, which of course is something we support, her entire salary last year. And so all those children's spaces, this chalice, and many other improvements were partly because of Kathy's incredible generosity, Kathy. So we are so lucky. We are so lucky. And this year she's continuing to teach and to support our wonderful new religious educator, Nick Walwork. We are so excited that he's here. And he can build on what she did in the last year. Kathy, did you want to say anything?
Yes, this is on, very good. What I didn't say in the last service was that I do have to acknowledge my husband, John. I could not have done anything compared to what I had done years ago when I was a religious educator. When was it? 89, I think, the 90s, yeah. The level of expertise and technology is just so beyond me, but John somehow stepped up to the plate and made wonderful family chapels, and all of our classes function. So I'm ever grateful to him for that. He's my David Snedden, I think. That's who he is. And the song that we just sang, Come Sing a Song With Me, I was recounting that that was the song that when I first said yes to becoming religious educator way back when, we played that song. It's such a beautiful piece, and it's a waltz. And Ken and Sylvia Deal were members of our congregation. Ken stood up, grabbed me, and we started to waltz in the middle of the service. It was so apropos because it was our ministry for religious education is all about joy and justice and owning who we are and finding our voice. And I have that memory to live with me forever, very precious memory. And I said yes again to teaching, because where would I be? I mean, I need to be there, right, with those little ones. So I have first through third. John and I are teaching first through third. And I do want to wish Nick Walwork the very best, and he's going to need all of our support. So when he gets on the phone and calls you for something, just say yes, like I did. It's lots of fun. It's lots of fun. So thank you so much, Alison. Thank you all for this lovely plaque and my attendance. I love this. It's so precious. Alison said she had to go on eBay or something to find it. So it's an antique, just like me. Just like me, right?
I think it might be older.
It might be older. It might be older.
I don't know, just like you. I think older.
It might be older. Again, part of our ministry is to use this gorgeous campus. And I said to Alice, when I wanted to give the salary back, I said, I want people to linger a little longer. Because we don't see each other that often, especially our children. It's so important that families get to know each other and the children get to know each other. So, because they're here for 18 years, those kids. They're here with us 18 years. It goes like a flash, right, Sella? It goes like a flash. Sella was our youth advisor way back when. And she knows. She knows. So anyway, thank you so much. It's been a joy.
Wonderful. And now let us share in our covenanting and teacher commissioning. We shared this at 9:30 and we share it again at 11:15 because we are a lifelong learning community. And we begin with you, Tim. As the chair of RE, co-chair with Kara Solu, who's online today. Hi, Kara. We can hear your voice.
Try again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As the religious professionals of our congregation, do you covenant to support the religious education program, bringing your skills, your leadership, and your support to all who nurture curiosity, compassion, and community in our congregation?
We do. Member, and then this is anyone who's ever served on a religious education committee, children's, youth committee, or adult. Members of our religious education committees, do you covenant to encourage and support the leaders of this program using your creativity and wisdom to create experiences that will offer opportunities for all to learn and grow? If so, please say, "We do."
So, are there any teachers still hanging around? All right, excellent. Teachers invite all of our teachers, I think some who are cleaning up still. Teachers and advisors, do you covenant to bring your experience, hope, and strength to our program, and to listen, to respond as a person of worth? Do you promise to listen to teachers within yourself and to expand both your and your students' perceptions and beliefs? And do you promise to keep your own curiosity and joy alive as you teach and learn?
We do. And now, let me say to our children, and I'm excited we have some that are still playing at those new wonderful features we have. So children and youth, do you covenant to respect yourselves, your teachers, and each other, and do your part to make this a place of learning, fun, and friendship? Do you promise to keep an open mind and an open heart? Do you promise to be teachers as well as learners? If so, please say, "We do."
We do. We do.
Love it. We do, we do, we do in triplicate. That's wonderful. Nick, why don't you address the adults?
Sure. Adults of this congregation, as partners in this important work, do you covenant to provide resources for our program, build relationships with our children and youth, actively support the Lifespan Religious Education Program, and do you covenant to become lifelong learners yourselves, seeking out knowledge and reflecting on what you've learned? Do you promise to both teach and learn from every individual within these walls and beyond?
We do. And let us all say together, we celebrate this community of teachers and learners. May we learn together the ways of joy, compassion, and love.
And now is the time in our service where we give and receive our weekly offering. We believe that generosity changes lives. It changes the lives of people in our community, and it changes our own lives in the giving. Our offering this morning will be split 50-50 between the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship and Family Promise. You can donate to the text to give number 73256 with keyword MUUF followed by the dollar amount. You can also give by going to our website at www.muuf.org. And you can also give by placing your offering in one of the baskets to either side of this chancel. And you could do that during the service, but you can also do it after, so we don't have a lot of bunching of people. We want to keep everybody safe. So thank you so much for your generosity. And please, Lori Cross, come. Are you? Okay. Lori Cross will sing a meta meditation for this offering. Thank you so much for your gift of voice.
May May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole. May we be whole. May we be whole.
It is the time in our service where we acknowledge the milestones and passages that have happened in the lives of our fellow congregants since we last met. We have a couple of milestones to share with you. The first is from Marjorie Wormser. Heartfelt thanks to all who have asked about my mother Edith and sent good wishes during her entry to hospice care in August 2020. She passed away peacefully last Sunday, just in time for the 10:30 a.m. UU service at the congregation where I grew up. I am filled with gratitude for all that unfolded so well in this situation. I feel no sadness at this time. Let us all hold Marjorie and the entire Wormser family in our hearts. May Edith's life and her love and the legacy of her days burn brightly in their hearts. From John Franklin, sharing a milestone connected to Jamie Thal. Jamie Thal endured her 6th surgery in 2 years for her knee on Thursday. She is at home doing well. Let us hold Jamie Thal, someone who has cared for this community in many ways, including as a youth advisor. May she feel our loving presence sent in her direction. May she heal. May she find well springs of courage and strength. And we rejoice at being together while apart and when she is able to return. And then finally, a milestone of gratitude. I wanted to share, just in case folks were not able to be here last week, that we had an extraordinary announcement and milestone. We have raised $4 million so far through the 2 phases of our capital campaign, and we have another 4 to go. And last week, Jihan Chu, on behalf of the entire Chu family, pledged $2 million towards our campaign, an incredible act of generosity and also humility. He was just incredible and shared the gift that this community is and was in his life. The fellowship hall in the new addition will be called the Al and Minda Chu Family Hall. And he wanted me to be sure to challenge everyone here to rise in whatever ways you can, at all levels of generosity, to help us build an addition with space that is green, that is family friendly, that is all the things that we aspire to be now and in the future. But before he left, he gave an additional gift. He has helped to fund some of the transitions for our AV and music programs. So in part, our ability to broadcast out here and It's going to be even better inside in terms of technology. It couldn't be more glorious than being outside, but better in terms of technology. When we're in the sanctuary, we're going to have 3 cameras, microphones that work well, and changes that will allow us to really be together online and in the room as well. And his mother is a lover of music, and so he wanted to give a special gift to the music program. Did you know that our piano back there is held together with super glue?
We didn't do it.
Oh yeah. I need to say Stearns is not responsible for that. No. So he's helping to fund a new piano and a grant for the assistant music director that we'll be hiring this year. So that is just incredible. So just wellsprings of gratitude for all the ways that our members share of their time and talent and treasure, from those who have not a lot of time to those who share and are able to share abundant time, and those who share meaningfully of their treasure at all levels. We give thanks. And I cannot wait to hear the new piano. I'm super excited. Or to meet the new assistant music director, or or any of the things, or to dance, as Kathy was saying earlier in the new fellowship hall. So I want to invite you to continue in a spirit of a meta meditation practice. And I'll share, our hymnal has so many wonderful resources. I know some of you have one at home, and there's so many practices from many different traditions. And today we're going to join in saying the Bodhisattva vows and to engage in a loving kindness meditation together, a meta meditation. So I invite you to plant your feet firmly on the floor, or to sit in the lotus position, or to be comfortable, to breathe in and out, whatever you would normally do if you were meditating and centering. And I'm going to sit on my cushion. Often I would do that in the lotus position, but I'll sit a little upright like this for today. And let us begin, as we do in these loving kindness meditations, with ourselves. May I be well. May I enjoy the root of happiness. May I be free from suffering and the root of suffering. May I not be separated from the joy beyond sorrow. May I dwell in spacious equanimity, free from craving, fear, and ignorance. And now, I invite you to move from holding yourself in your mind's eye and your heart to holding someone that it is easy for you to love. Let us practice again. May my loved one be well and enjoy the root of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the root of suffering. May they not be separated from the joy beyond sorrow. May my loved one dwell in spacious equanimity, free from craving, fear, and ignorance. And now I invite you to hold someone, maybe an acquaintance, someone you don't know well, maybe someone you pass in the morning on a stroll or rolling through your neighborhood, maybe someone at the grocery store, maybe someone who delivers your packages. It could be anyone, any acquaintance. May that acquaintance be well and enjoy the root of happiness, free from suffering and the root of suffering. May they not be separated from the joy beyond sorrow. May they dwell in spacious equanimity, free from craving, fear, and ignorance. And now I invite you to center in your mind's eye and in your heart someone with whom you may have a conflict or a struggle. It could still be that loved one. It could be someone that you may always wind up finding a conflict with. It could be a simple challenge or a greater challenge. You decide where you are in this moment. And let us practice. May that person be well and enjoy the root of happiness, free from suffering and the root of suffering. May they not be separated from the joy beyond sorrow. May they dwell in spacious equanimity, free from ignorance, fear, and craving. And now I invite you to draw in a breath of love, the love from this community, and to breathe out a sense of peace. And let us, in this final recitation, hold all sentient beings, all of humanity, and all creatures. May all sentient beings be well and enjoy the root of happiness, free from suffering and the root of suffering. May they not be separated from the joy beyond sorrow. May they dwell in spacious equanimity, free from ignorance, craving, and fear. And I invite you to breathe in one more time just that presence of love from this community, and to breathe out a sense of peace and well-being. Let us fill the sound waves and the light waves, and may that love and peace pour out of our body. And let us sing together Carolyn Mcdade's song about healing. She identified as a musical healer, Spirit of Life. And Lori will lead us. Thank you, Lori, another musical healer. Thank you.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the strains of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move cisterns of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, bring set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Are we still good on this? Use the other one. Okay.
Is it dead? Okay, the other one's live, so
That. Oh wait. Oh, there it's live.
it's
Which one should I use?
now it's working. I don't
Testing.
know. Okay, it's working.
Yeah. So we are learning about wind today and technology, and it's a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing indeed. The poem that I am about to share. Oop. Let's see. Does it want to stay? Okay. Testing. Are we good? Okay. The poem that we're sharing is by Emma Lazarus, who many may have heard of from the poem about the Statue of Liberty. But this is a poem of hers called Sympathy. Therefore I dare reveal my private woe, the secret blots of my imperfect heart, nor strive to shrink or swell mine own desert, nor beautify nor hide. For this I know, that even as I am, thou also art. Though past heroic forms unmoved shalt go, to pause and bide with me, to whisper low. Not I alone am weak, not I apart must suffer, struggle, conquer day by day. Here is my very cross by strangers borne. Here is my bosom sin wherefrom I pray. Hourly deliverance. This my rose, my thorn. This woman my soul's need can understand, stretching o'er silent gulfs her sister's hand. Our second principle in Unitarian Universalism is the following. We covenant to affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Let me introduce you to Kuan Yin. This is a statue of her which stands in my office right in front of my hearth. She is known by a number of names, including the goddess of compassion. Her name in Sanskrit is Padma Pani, or born of the lotus. She is gender non-conforming. In the earliest stories, he is known as Avalokiteshvara, the merciful Lord of utter enlightenment, an Indian bodhisattva. In later stories, beginning in the 12th century, she becomes Kuan Yin, which in Chinese means she who hears the cries of the world. There are many legends about her life, and here is one from China. She was the third daughter of an Indian prince, a king who led his people peacefully under Confucian ethics. When she was born, her body glowed with an almost earthly light, so much so that it looked as if the palace was ablaze, on fire. Her parents named her Miaoshan, wonderful goodness. Even as a child, she practiced detachment from material things by which she was surrounded. Miaoshan did not enjoy wearing expensive fabrics. She was not a princess who wanted to wear jewels or makeup. Her conversations were about the impermanence of material possessions and how we human beings suffer because of our attachment to them. Her parents grew very frustrated about her conversations and opinions at the dinner table and decided that what would be best was for them to choose a husband for her and for her to leave their company. I'm not sure exactly. Now, to this prospect, Kuan Yin said, I would never, for the sake of one lifetime of enjoyment, plunge into eons of misery. I have pondered on this matter and deeply detest the idea of an earthly union for me. Nevertheless, when her parents insisted, she agreed to comply with their wishes, but only if her future mate could save her from the 3 following misfortunes: growing old, sickness, and death. If indeed my future husband can ensure my deliverance against these misfortunes, I will gladly marry him. Otherwise, I vow to remain a spinster all my life. She preferred instead to follow the path of Buddhism and a path of detachment, of letting go, of alleviating suffering. Now, her father was exasperated with her, and he decided to test her convictions. He sent her to a nunnery and threatened the nun, the senior nun, that she had better have his daughter engage in some of the most difficult tasks and hardships as possible, and that his daughter needed to be changed within 7 days, or else something might befall the nun. As you might guess, this future bodhisattva was not deterred from the path of Dharma, which infuriated the king so much so that he sentenced his youngest daughter to be beheaded. But just as she kneeled before the executioner, ready to accept her fate, there was a boom of thunder and a burst of lightning so bright, and a tiger rode in and scooped up Miaoshan and took her off into the hills. Now, maybe not surprisingly, the king's karma caught up with him and he became gravely ill. A holy man, educated in the ways of healing, predicted that the only cure would be if someone, without the slightest anger or resentment, would be willing to sacrifice a portion of their own body, their arms or their eyes, for example. The elixir made of these potent ingredients would relieve him of suffering. Where, alas, would I ever find such a compassionate being, lamented the king. Why, in this very land, said the monk. It's not hard to guess who this turns out to be. When the king fully recovered, he made haste with his wife to pay homage to the one who had so miraculously saved his life. After bowing low, when they raised their heads, there they saw before them their youngest daughter, Miaoshan. Realizing all she had done for him, despite all he had done to her, the king fell prostrate on the floor and asked for forgiveness. The parents embraced their daughter, and he acknowledged his evil doing and how it had added to his daughter's suffering as well as others. Miaoshan replied, Father, I have suffered no pain. Having given up these human eyes, I shall see with diamonds. If my calling is true, all this will follow. In the end, what the various legends share is the following interpretation. Kuan Yin was a devoted follower of the Buddha who led a life of practice, virtue, and self-sacrifice. She attained enlightenment, and the moment when she could be released from the cycles of birth and death and reach nirvana, she heard a cry from below on earth, and she turned back, finding her place in eternity in the hearts of those who suffer. As with any legend of a great human prophet or saint or manifestation of the divine in all, like with Jesus' life or here with Kuan Yin, we are to take spiritual lessons from the memorable tales and changing details woven around and on top of their lives through oral stories passed around the world and eventually written down in books. And maybe not literal lessons about plucking out our eyes, but imagine somebody who was able to retain a sense of compassion even for her foes. Here are at least 3 lessons from Kuan Yin's path that will help us touch the root of compassion. A life of spiritual practice, as is the case with meditation, brings about insights and a deeper clarity, feelings of inner peace, and the ability to act with equanimity. Learning how to identify with what is impermanent and ultimately how to make peace with it and to let it go will help us gain an inner and outer resiliency and strength. And 3, we are united in suffering, and the capacity to be present to and to take in the suffering of others, to truly be with them in their pain, helps to alleviate their suffering and often your own. Just like in that poem by Emma Lazarus. When cultivating a practice of compassion, it is most authentic to begin with yourself, with self-compassion. If we are hearing voices in our head that are saying we aren't good enough, or if we are in pain and we can't acknowledge and hold our own suffering, surrounding it by a presence of love, like a parent might hold a child who's in pain, then we will not have the strength or the replenishing resilience or the true authenticity to hold another person. Ronald Siegel, a professor of clinical psychology at Harvard Medical School, points towards 3 antidotes that you might consider when you are struggling to be compassionate with yourself. 1, if those inner voices or our critics, if you are experiencing a lot of self-criticism, that's a kind of fight response, if you will, an inner fight response. The antidote to that is self-kindness. To be kind to yourself, especially right now with all we're facing in a pandemic. If the challenge you are facing is putting yourself into isolation, retreating from the rest of humanity, a feeling of loneliness rather than the positive feeling of solitude, then the antidote to that is to experience our common humanity, to come to a place like the fellowship and to be with others, to pick up the phone, to recognize that you are related to everyone else. If you are struggling with self-absorption, and we are in a culture where at times there is a great risk. The most extreme looks like narcissism, but any one of us could get lost in ourselves, so much so that we lose perspective. In that case, the antidote is mindfulness, which brings perspective and a clarity that none of us depends entirely on our own. All of us has unique gifts and flaws, and we all need one another. And Dr. Siegel talks about 5 paths to self-compassion. The first is physical. To literally practice softening your body, feeling the tension release from your neck and shoulders, to literally practice a kind of loving compassion and kindness where you do let go physically. The second is mental, to allow thoughts to come and go, those voices, and just to be with them, not to quash them, but just to give them space for expression and again to let them go. Third, the third path is emotional, to lead towards self-compassion, to befriend those feelings. Oh, I am human. It is natural that I would be insecure in this way or feel so much pain following that event. The fourth path is relational, to connect safely with others, to build relationships that are compassionate and flowing back and forth and mutual, and to help feel the compassion of another. In fact, sometimes our practice has to begin with us imagining a compassionate friend who is offering loving kindness and care and soothing to us even before we are able to offer it to ourselves. And the fifth path to self-compassion is spiritual. To commit to something larger than yourself. There is nothing better than that at pulling you out of self-absorption or of gaining perspective and of seeing that we are all in fact united in our suffering. Earlier, we practiced a loving kindness meditation, a metta meditation, and sent positive healing energy even to those we may struggle to hold with kindness. A loving kindness meditation is a good place to begin a meditation practice. But there is another more advanced practice that helps us to deepen into our capacity for compassion, which is called a Tonglen Meditation. This is a taking and giving, or a taking and sending meditation. The practice is originally attributed to Atisha, a Buddhist monk in the 11th century. In this type of meditation, we hold someone or people who are ill or dying, or in pain of any kind, physical, psychological, spiritual. Pema Chodron writes about this practice. In Tonglen practice, we visualize taking in the pain of others with every in-breath and sending out whatever will benefit them on the outer breath. It is a way of being liberated from self-absorption or even selfishness, and a way to begin to feel love for ourselves and another, and a way to take care of ourselves and another. We breathe in the pain and suffering of another. We breathe out kindness and goodwill. Some of you may find this type of practice to be grounding and expanding as we continue to ride through this pandemic, yes, but also the impacts of global warming and a time of great polarization. Pema Chodron describes 4 stages for this practice. The first is called Flash on Bodhicitta. It involves resting your mind and feeling the stillness. It also involves opening to the spaciousness in your heart. And today is such a wonderful day outside, the clear blue expanse of the sky with barely a cloud overhead where we happen to be sitting. Imagine a heart with that kind of spaciousness and emptiness ready to receive. And then the second part is to visualize, to breathe in feelings of heat and darkness or heaviness. Even she invites a claustrophobia-like sense, a negative feeling. And then to practice breathing out feelings of coolness, brightness, and light, a sense of freshness and openness. Imagine breathing in the negative energy that represents the suffering of the world, and then radiate positive energy out, back into the world, and through all the pores of your body. And then after that practice, the next step is to focus on a personal situation, something that is real to you, a suffering that you connect with, a pain that you connect with. And to begin by doing Tonglen for someone that you care about, or even yourself. For instance, if you are feeling inadequate, to breathe that in, and then to breathe out confidence. Or perhaps you have a friend that is wrestling with cancer and with pain from treatments, to breathe in that pain. And then to breathe out feelings of well-being, of being surrounded by love. Anything that you think would offer some relief. And then you can move from just thinking about yourself and your concerns about the example of inadequacy to thinking about everyone that might be feeling inadequate in the moment that we're facing. And to breathe in with them and to breathe out positive energy to them. And to move from your friend who may be suffering with cancer to all people who are experiencing that. And that is connected to the fourth step of this giving and sending meditation. Finally, continue to expand in your capacity to have compassion for more and more people and the whole world. What about all of us who are suffering the impacts of global warming? All who have experienced the fires and the floods, of all who have experienced food insecurity and even the consequences of COVID being heightened because of global warming. Imagine taking in that energy, the pain, the loneliness, the insecurity, the fear, and then to breathe out into that space a sense of hope, really feeling that when we feel that we are suffering with another, and we all feel the impacts of global warming, then we actually build within a desire to change. And so that out-breath that is sending out equanimity, a world of equanimity, a world of peace and well-being, a world where the trees and everything around us is healing, actually changes us. So when we get up from our practice, even in this time of anguish, we can feel something shift. And it's not about any one of us in the end. It's about all of us. And so these kinds of practices of compassion actually change the energy within. And when we unite with others, we gain the confidence and that sense of well-being that together we could combat climate justice, combat climate global warming, and act for climate justice, because we can feel deeply the impacts of not alleviating suffering. I'll end by sharing that Kuan Yin sits in my office looking towards me as I sit with others who are in pain during pastoral appointments. She reminds me that indeed I am not alone, and that if I reach my limit, there are others who this person can tap into for support, including their own inner sense of strength and well-being. Together, may we be a community of expanding love. May each of us learn how to bear one another's pain, as well as how to lift one another's spirits and to lift one another's joy. May we grow compassionate as well as wise, for when we are truly with one another's heartbreak, there we find the strength to engage in the struggle to change the world into one that has justice and equity for all. It begins with compassion. So awaken this day to the goddess within, to the spark of the divine and healing force of compassion. May your heart be alight with that unearthly, beautiful fire. May it be so. And now, will you join in singing our closing song? Yes, when our heart is in a holy place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place.
Our words are by Emily Dickinson. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Go forth and take this tool called your heart. Open it under this spacious blue sky and make space to befriend feelings of anguish and suffering. Be changed by that presence of loving kindness and go forth and act for equity and justice right here and across the land. Blessed be one and all.
not the report. Perfect.
Gentlemen, have a good day.
You too.